Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In, Volume 2, Part 16. On my crackhead update, I ran into the Bird Man. I mentioned him in another video. And he was walking down Corinth, and he saw me, came over and spoke, and told me he can't wait till Monday till he receive his check. He gets a VA check, he gets the big check. Today they received the crazy checks, the SSI. Anyway, I told him, I said, hey man, you know you was over here on this property talking to them birds out there. He said, yeah man. He said, them youngsters sold me some straight drop. He said, I remember flying out by the airport. I was out flying and I flew right up beside a jet. And people was looking out the window just waving at me. He said, hell, they probably gonna call some F-16 from the nearest Air Force base and shoot my ass down. So I flew off. He said, I remember heading back to Oak Cliff. I said, well, you landed over here. He said, I'll be damned. He said, man, that's just straight drop. He said, man, they got my shoes, my wallet, and everything. He said, some old big head girl, she got all my money and everything. He said, they gave me my shoes and my wallet back with my bank card in it because they couldn't use it. And I said, do the name Betty Boo sound familiar to you? He said, yeah, man, that's my ex-wife. She's sleeping under a bridge over there in South Dallas in a tent. He said, I was over there last night. She invited me in and said she wanted to rekindle our romance. He said, man, I went in that tent with her. He talking about some funk. He said she was playing in it, just stirring it up. I said, whoo, I can't handle this. I said, let me smoke a cigarette. So I stepped outside her tent, smoked me a cigarette, and I took off down Martin Luther King, man. I couldn't handle the funk. So he said, hey, man, Monday I'll drop by and smoke one with you. I said, no, man, I'm good. I appreciate it. And he walked on down to the train station. Okay, before we get started, you know what the routine is. Get your shanks. Be ready to ride. Let's ride, y'all. I'm going to discuss, before I get started into other stories, the craziest fight I ever seen in prison. Well, one of the craziest. I've seen so many. We was at the Win unit in Huntsville, and they was having an over 60 basketball tournament. And I was one of the referees, because an over 60 guy can't even guard me. He way too slow. I'll blow past him and make a layup just as easy, or pull up on his ass and make a three. He can't guard me. He's too slow. So I was the referee. And one old man, he's 89 years old. He got 60-year sentence. He'd been to prison 3 times for murder. He just started coming to prison when he was in his 60s. But this time they got tired of him. He gave him some big ass time. He'll die in prison if he's not already dead yet. And the other guy was 86. Man, they got the organ on the basketball court. The warden and all was in there looking at him hoop. And they squared off and getting ready to fight. Now these two old guys standing 3 feet apart from each other. Boy, they swinging hard and talking all type of crap. And one of them said, told the other one, say, man, you was a hoe back in 1949. Dude in the gym was looking and started laughing. 1949, said, yeah, man, he used to crawl up under them people's bed when we was over at that other prison. And they go back to swinging again. I'm talking, they 3 feet away from each other. One swung so hard, he spun all the way around and fell down. So they reached an agreement. Hey, man, I think we better stop fighting, man, because somebody's going to get hurt. So the warden asked him, say, y'all through fighting? Say, hell yeah, warden, you ain't never seen no fight that good before. Yeah, that's how you fight. We'll teach these young bucks how to fight. They don't know how to fight. See, me and him don't take no shit from nobody. Man, they were arguing even after the basketball tournament. They was arguing all the way down the hallway, just arguing all the way to. They lived in a dormitory for old men. If you had to be a senior citizen to live in that dorm, because we ain't got some old guys over there. I want to clear up another point. Someone contacted Tim Snow over at Texas Prison Channel and sent him a comment saying that I said 75% of Texas inmates are sex offenders. That's virtually impossible. I have said no such thing. What I said was that Texas has a lot of sex offenders, but there are 106 prisons in Texas. It is 2 prisons that are 50% sex offenders are housed at that prison, but they are housed all over the prison system. All maximum security prisons has sex offenders, and they are not no 75%. The number one crime in Texas is a property crime. The second one is a drug offense. Those are guys that dominate the prison. It's basically more murderers than sex offenders. Texas has a high rate of murders. So, don't take my message out of context. And as far as gang members, let me clarify this. If you're a member of an XTG, a security threat group, you will be housed in ADSEG in Texas. If you're a member of a disruptive group, which is Bloods, Crips, Tongo Blast, and a couple more offshoot gangs, you're allowed to live in general population. Now, some of the STGs has undercover members that are in general population, but they are not raising no hell at all because they will save you in a heartbeat. If the word get out, they will be ADSEG. Now, they might be at one of these little minimum security prisons, telling the guys there they're gang members, but if the gang officers get wind of it, he will be taken before a classification committee and have a hearing and be recommended that he be placed in administrative segregation indefinitely, with no more hearings after that. You only get that one hearing, you can appeal it, but it's over with for you. The rest of your sentence will be spent in ADSEG unless you X out of a gang. I got a story about Ed Lewis Ortiz. He spent 20 years in a Texas prison because of 2 lies, 1 snatch of hearsay, and 1 piece of human feces on his shoes that, when all was said and done, was never actually proven to be human feces in the first place. Though the evidence was remarkably thin, prosecutors in Smith County, a conservative law and order community 90 miles east of Dallas, brought Ortiz to trial twice. The first one in 1996 ended a hung jury, so they tried again 2 years later. This time they were successful, and Ortiz got 99 years in prison. Ortiz, who is 6'6", bald, and 50 years old, is being paroled tomorrow, moving on, and will walk out of the Walls Unit in Huntsville and into the arms of his wife and kids. Ed Ortiz was born and raised in the rural community of Chapel Hill, just east of Tyler, Texas. He was arrested in August 1993 for the murder of Eleanor Griffin, whose body had been found in her trailer on July the 23rd. Law enforcement figured that she had been killed the previous night. Griffin was naked, face down on the floor. She had been viciously stabbed in the throat with a 6-inch gash that went to the bone. Her tiny body, she was 4'4" and weighed 104 pounds, had numerous cuts, bruises, and scratches. One thing was clear. Whoever did this would certainly have scratches on his or her own body, as well as bloody clothes. None of Ortiz's hair, blood, fingerprints, or semen was found at the scene. And when investigators questioned him later that night, he had no scratches or bruises on his body. They checked his hands and made him take off his shirt to be sure. There was no blood on his shirt, shorts, or shoes. Now, it's a guy who has a YouTube channel in Michigan. He assisted artist and getting released from prison. He came up for parole the first time and was denied. You're not going to make parole in Texas unless you take responsibility and show remorse for the crime. So he's saying that he didn't commit the crime. He was denied parole. The second time around, this YouTuber, they had a letter writing campaign to the parole board in Texas. And he came up for parole. Evidently, he had to show remorse. And he was granted parole the following day. That's really unheard of in Texas. But in Texas, if you have outside support, you stand a chance of getting released from prison. Most guys don't have outside support, so they stuck. And they want you to be able to show the parole board how you going to survive when you get out. Who's going to provide assistance from you. They need to know all that type of information. That increases your chance of making parole. They don't want a guy really with a violent offense going to a halfway house. That's your last resort. A lot of guys have no other option. They are not in contact with their family, or their family members will not allow them to live at their house, so they're really stuck in prison. And lately, well, he's out now. He's free, and he's got a pending litigation in court to get declared actual innocent, to be fully exonerated. And that process is slow in Texas, but he has the Innocent Project working with it. Also, lately in the news, there's been a lot of stuff about Karens and Brads. These want-to-be entitled people. I would love to see a Karen or a Brad come over in this hood with that bullshit. It's a store right down the street from me called Motions. This guy, the owner, he smokes a cigarette in the store. He be behind the cash register smoking him a cigarette right in the store. You can light one up. He don't give a shit. Now, I would love to see a Brad or a Karen go in there and tell him to put his cigarette out and see how you going to be handled over here. They got big guns over here. You would not last a hot minute in this hood. You come over here with that weak-ass entitlement crap, well, you'll be visiting a local mall. Also, in the last 4 days, they have had 5 capital murders here in Dallas. I'm still waiting on the death penalty to deter these capital murders. He's not deterring anything here. Maybe they didn't forget about Dallas, Texas. And D-Town Boogie is steady putting it down. People dropping left and right around here. Those are just capital murders. Altogether, they've had 9 murders in the last 4 days. Where you at, death penalty? We need you here. Deter something. Anyway, on a little philosophy, don't be afraid of being outnumbered. Eagles fly alone. Pigeons flock together. One eagle would destroy a whole flock of pigeons. He would not only kill their ass, he would eat them. So don't be afraid if you got to stand by yourself. You know, I really hate when people brag like I have a job, my own car, pay my own bills. Congratulations on being on a dub. Now sit your regular ass down. And actions prove who someone is. Words just prove who they want to be. And on my interview with Lockdown 23-1, some of the things that I discussed in that interview, all you got to do is Google Ruiz versus Estelle. They have the whole lawsuit online. Now look at what this federal judge say about the Texas prison. Everything that I said is substantiated by this federal judge. Yeah, I'm going to be doing videos now on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because I'm having problems with the Wi-Fi and my chicken shit phone. I'm trying to use a hotspot. It's not working too good. So I do videos on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Like and subscribe. I thank you for watching. Keep your shanks ready and be ready to ride at a moment's notice. Y'all have a good day.